What's up, everybody? It's Joseph R. Wheeler III, the artist, the founder, the president of the ONYXCON Foundation. Welcome back to another live. Why did I say guess what when I came up in here? Because that's the name of my favorite track off that new Ice Cube album that dropped like yesterday or the day before. I think it was yesterday. But yo, Cube is back. Hardcore is back. Real rap stays in the front. Okay, real hip hop stays in the front. We all about it. And ONYXCON music, we cover that. You know, that's one of our niches. We have multi-niche content. If you're new to the channel, make it very well understood. We do many things here. We do everything from music to gaming to film. Okay, we cover movies. We cover travel. We love travel. We do outdoors, recreation, adventure, travel. Like I said, again, travel, can't stop saying travel. Please donate, subscribe, salute the energy we bring y'all, because this is what we do. It's the ONYXCON monetization nation. That's for all my people who hit that subscribe button, who put that thumbs up when they come in on something like this or anywhere on our channel. If you check out that ONYXCON review of that new Ice Cube, make sure you put a thumbs up. Make sure you go over and watch and go straight to Cube's channel, because you know, there's all these people getting hits off of the artist, named the artist. Go straight to his channel and watch it. You know what I'm saying? That's what I always do when somebody's album come out. I try to make sure I'm on the real channel, because they're gonna use the same artwork and everything, and it's gonna look legit, and you're gonna think you're looking at the real something, and oh wait a minute, this ain't even his page. And those can be annoying sometimes, because it's usually some artist that's trying to get noticed, which I understand that. They just trying to, you know, they're trying to float on the whale, attach themselves to the whale, and try to pick up some of that heavy that person has, being a legend. So they put their little tracks between the track list, and you'll get this. You'll be listening and be like, "That was Cube just now," but who is that? Wait a minute, is this the same album? What is it? And then it'll be some random, usually young trap rapper or somebody trying to get noticed and whatever. Sometimes, I will admit, sometimes the stuff be fly. I'll be like, oh, wait a minute, now who is this for real though? I kind of like it. Most of the time I'm like, what the hell is that bullshit? And I can't get to the remote or tap my phone fast enough, you know what I mean? But anyway, and so Q came out with Man Down first, which if you want to think all the way back, I love to note this very important historical fact. It was the same day that GNX came out, Kendrick Lamar. So I often say, just because of, you know, everybody's always trying to figure out the next move of Kendrick and stuff like that, I don't get that deep into the Easter eggs of it, but it's kind of fun to try to predict, right? So I thought to myself, I said, what if Kendrick were to drop again, like this week or next week or something crazy out of nowhere, which he might do. The only reason I say it is because just if he were to stick to the pattern of what happened when he came out on the same day as Ice Cube with Man Down, what if he was to drop another album now that Cube's got Man Up out? And just from a West Coast perspective, it's like the older generation, the new generation, or kind of the middle right now for Kendrick, because him in his 30s, you know, the way they got everything set up, they try to make it like these cats are old when they in their 30s. Far from it. You got to be at least 35 before we start counting you as a legit, in my book, as a legit, you know, kind of mostly seasoned, you know. You get to 35 plus, okay, cool. You hit your 40, yeah, you definitely, yeah, you unk status, all that. You get like me, it's the real deal. It's the show enough. Just turned 50, say less. Come on. So, you know, to me, Cube is especially for folks of my generation who grew up on it, who literally, you know, we went to school with you in a way, so to speak. You know, it's like Cube is only 6 years older than me. That's like an older brother age, you know what I mean? That's like, yeah, that's literally like, yeah, like straight up, seriously. And I don't have an older brother, but I'm just saying if I did, I got friends who did, and they were like, you know, they were 4 years or 6 years older than us, kind of stuff, typically. So that's what that is, you know. But yeah, yeah, man, Cube done dropped again. And I will say, I don't want to give away everything I said in my review. I want y'all to watch the review. Don't worry, I've got snippets. I did it really good, too. I didn't get no flags. I just knew I was going to get a copyright flag for sharing a bit of the music. But I did one before, and I ain't getting any trouble with YouTube about that, because it's like I don't know exactly, but it doesn't. They say generally, and I say they meaning other YouTubers often say, as long as you use less than a minute of any song, you typically don't get a strike. You know, and I'm doing it for review purposes, and I make that clear in my caption. I don't want mess. I don't want to smoke with YouTube. We trying to, hey, you know what I mean? So I just put it in there. I was like, look, I'm gonna do this. I got a format that's so sweet. I love how I do this, and I'm gonna keep doing it when I do reviews for music. Is I'll play just under, it don't even be a minute. It's probably more like 30 seconds. You know what I mean? A damn sure ain't no minute. A minute will get you in, you gonna get a strike playing a minute, and you better do it. So I'll talk over, like I'll bring it in, play the first little, probably not even 30 minutes. When I think about it, probably like 15 seconds, and then I drop it down half, whatever. So it's like, it ain't even halfway. I drop it to like whatever that number is at almost the end of the bar in iMovie when you do editing. All my editing folk, all my YouTubers understand. And I'll get it right where you can barely hear it. Like every time I stop saying a word, you can hear the music is beneath me, but it's super low. That doesn't get you no strike, and it just gives it a vibe to the video. So I did that, and it's a nice fade out. I got it down to a science. It's like, bring it up loud, okay, and drop. And then I start talking about what I think of the track, get my few little words. Okay, on to the next one. Bring it up, okay, drop it back down. You know what I'm saying? So there's a little technique. If anybody want to try it, go for it. You know what I mean? I don't care. I just want to see folk win, so go for it. If you do YouTube, you want to try doing it, do that. But it is a lot of editing. I ain't gonna even front. It ain't simple as it sounds when you actually doing it. And don't think you're gonna just sit down, tinker with your phone for about 15 minutes and post a video. No, you're gonna give it about an hour to an hour and a half. That's how long it took me to edit this up and get it right. But I actually listened to the album from start to finish, solid, one good time, and then I went through it, like, you know, listened to about half a song, let my favorite songs play full for a second time, and I said, okay, I made my notes. I'm like, yeah, all right, I'm ready. I definitely got a lot to say about this, and that's how it was made, you know. So if you want to check that out, like I say, Ice Cube, Man Up, total review, full album review with snippets of the songs throughout the whole thing. You're not gonna feel like, what's he talking about? I give you a little bit so you know. And it's hidden for the most part. I'm not even saying it's, I don't like, I want to make that clear as I go into a slight live critique. But you'll hear me say in the video, my biggest gripe, and this ain't just with what I've noticed about a lot of older rappers coming out like Cube and everybody. And mind you, these are my dudes. Like, so I rock with them regardless. Even when they slip a little bit, I'm still with them because that's my generations. You feel? But I do not like when they use a generic type track, whoever's doing the production, and it just sounds like that basic, just a basic West Coast. And then also, there's almost like a signature Cube sound. Like, it'll have a little piano, it'll have a real eerie sound, and it might have, it's gonna have some dum dum bum, dum dum bum 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 kind of sound. It's gonna have some of that in it. He loves to use synthesized, I don't even know if you would call it the tuba, but it's one of the, yeah, it's trying to sound like a tuba, but it's not a tuba because of course, like I say, it's synthesized. But he loves that sound, and then, you know, mix that in with some of that traditional West Coast, all that stuff that came from Zapp, Roger Troutman, all that stuff that came from Ohio players, Funky Worm. Like, literally, I'm giving you the roadmap to every major bass sound of all West Coast G-Funk. And you gotta have Parliament. You cannot get off this train until you get Parliament and some George Clinton and the whole crew. Parliament, Funkadelic, all the offshoot bands too. Any of those tracks are up for samples, and then once again, he did do that. Whoever did the production on this one track, it was Atomic Dog yet again. Like, here we go, more Atomic Dog, which you can never not go. I'm always like that. It's in my blood to like that. I'm just gonna be like, oh man, you know, they go that. It gonna get me every time, right? It's natural. It's like they use sample for sending you forget-me-nots, and I'm like, you can't lose with that. That's classic, man. You can't lose with that. And I don't mind that he'll use stuff like that, but what I prefer And I said this in my review, you hear it way deeper, I go a little deeper. What I prefer is just, I need some fresh, period. I know it's hard as hell to find a sample nobody used, or better said, how to cut it up in a way no one's cut it up yet. That's what the challenge is artistically. Producers got to come up with something that, man, damn, I know what that is, but I barely know what it is because of what he did with it. Man, he chewed that thing up, spit it back out, and made it completely beautiful in a whole new form. You know, we need that kind of production again. And I'm not saying that there's none of that in this album, because it is. There are some joints. Even what I'm talking about, where you can tell is, you know, yeah, they sampled Atomic Dog, but still, the way he did it, that the back bass beat is insane on that track. That joint is knocking, and it's got a nice, some levels to it that take it another place. So I like that. I like that a lot. But again, for me, it's all about, I like to have something so amazing that even if I know whose voice I'm hearing, like, I'm gonna give you an example, and this is one of my favorite, probably might be my favorite track off of Man Down, the first album before this one, okay, of New Cube. So you got Man Down, now you got Man Up, and of course it's obviously a series. He's playing, he's like, he's doing what he did, which is epic, because that to me is the best Ice Cube album ever, man. And he knows it. He knows every fan, and I'm sure he himself would have to admit that's his opus. But Death Certificate was, man. Death Certificate was the Cube album, period, right? Everything after that is trying to measure up to, you know, and it can't, because it was of a time. It was of a time in his life. It was of a time in the music industry. It was of a time in hip-hop music, in the cultures. As I always say, because we don't do it for the culture, because there ain't no one culture. We got multiple, and they all intersect where they intersect. Where they don't, they ain't got nothing to do with me. You do you, I'm going to do me. That's my phrase, right? But I'm telling you, Death Certificate was a time to be alive when that album dropped, and how it hit and how epic it was, because how the A and the B side of it, when we had that, when you flip the tape over, you got the A side, you got the B side, and he tells you where we are. You got the B side, where we going, or where we need to be going. You know, and he's literally, that's how the album was, right? So he pretty much repeated that same artistry, but with two whole albums versus a half and a half. And you know, it's like, at this point, I almost am giving away some of my key points in my review, but it's still worth listening to the review, because like I say, you'll hear the music and you'll understand my points from this live. But the thing he did for me with Man Up is he just didn't, I don't know, in my opinion, he didn't make a full album. It just wasn't enough of an album to me. It's not that there's certain tracks on it that, yeah, you put them together, that's an album. Like, it's 14 tracks. Honestly, man, back in the day, somebody could get away with 8, okay? It wasn't until, I guess, late 90s into 2000s that it became standard for folks to just regurgitate 1,000 tracks on an album. I mean, like, people, all these double digits. Like, no one did. You may have got to 10, maybe, but even 10 most of the time wasn't 10 full tracks. It was like 2 major interludes that were cinematic, audio cinematic, make you feel like you're there, but it's like, you know, a scene out of a movie, you listening to it, which I always love those on Ice Cube albums and other albums from that time. But then you had, they weren't to the point where even the shortest song wasn't so short. You like, damn, man, what the hell? It was like one verse and it went off. That's how this album was for half, but I hate to say, man, not even half. Almost, there was a point in the album I kept saying, wait a minute, it's over? Like, I'm just getting into it. I'm growing up, like, I like this. This is hidden. Like, my favorite, one of my absolute favorites on this album is Salt and Pepper, because it's an anthem for brothers my age and looking my way, okay? All the smooth cats who are near 50, over 50, looking good, in shape. We still pull the ladies, the hot young honeys be at us, we be at them, and we can still get that kind of game, right? That's that song. It's like an anthem for the Silver Fox all over the world. It's for real. I'm telling you, you hear that song, Salt and Pepper, you're going to understand what I'm saying. It's man. I'm telling you, Brun's going to be doing straight up, I don't know, it's gonna be temptation level dances made off of this. Like steppers in Chicago are gonna create whole damn routines off of this track. I'm telling you, it's that joint. It's that joint. LA gonna have special dances for folk to do at barbecues with a whole row of uncles and daddies and everybody getting out there and granddaddies doing their damn thing and showing it off. Fly, you know, looking their best and being their best. And that's what time it is. I love to see stuff like that I know can elevate and keep people happy and motivated to be, you know, in the right space in their head. So shout out to that track. Like I say, Salt and Pepper is the shit. You're gonna see what I mean when you hear it. But it's too damn short. This is the shortest song when I looked at it. I said, what is the shortest? I know it's short, but it was like 1 minute and I don't know, 50 something seconds. I was like, you gotta be freaking kidding me. It ain't even 2 minutes, y'all. But the average song on the album is just under or right at 3 or a little over 3. And I'm saying, no, man, not for this. Not, man, Salt and Pepper could have had a dang breakdown with an orchestra, a live band or something. I mean, it's just that good. The track is hidden, okay? My absolute favorite on the album, which I will say that was complete, but I still want it to be longer just because I'm spoiled when I hear good. It's so hard to get music that good that's hitting all the right notes, saying all the right stuff you want to see heard and heard over and over again. So, yo, guess what? That's the name of the track. Guess what? Oh, Man Up, this new Ice Cube, telling you, that's my joint. That's my, man. And guess what is like, it's not like trying to be old school Cube, it just Cube being Cube. He just older. And it's got all this smooth, slick, super cool, hard, riding that. I mean, ride out to this. Like, this is one of them joints you ride out to. This is one of them joints you contemplate. This is one of them joints, you know, you thinking about shady folk at your job, or you know ain't got your best interests, or you thinking about some fool you done let go and not dealing with no more in life because you found out they was foul, and you realize, yeah, you need like a damn anthem just to remember why you let fools go, and that you in the right headspace to keep moving and not go backwards. This your track. Guess what? That's the name of it. Guess what? I'm telling you. Go listen to that new Cube, that Man Up joint. Guess what? And the thing I love most, it's an original track. I don't know what they may have sampled, if they sampled anything. Oh, it doesn't even sound like it's got any samples. It just sounds like original orchestra mixed with synthesized, you know, a couple of like live notes of whatever. And it's like, it's there. It's one of them joints that stands out. Like, if I say steady mobbing, the song comes, and yes, it's got samples and stuff, but what they did with it is so unique. If I say we be clubbing, it's ding 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 ding. We be clubbing, ding 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 ding. You instantly, you got the song in your head instantly. You know, certain tracks, that's just what it does. You know, certain tracks, that's what it does. You know, but this is one of those tracks. This is one of those Ice Cube memorable tracks to me. Like I say, me personally, guess what is the best track on this new album? Now, to give comparison to see how my tastes are, because everybody's taste ain't the same, from Man Down, my favorite, well, I don't really have a absolute favorite. I got a couple of favorites, but one of which would be Fighting for My Life in Paradise. That's my man. Because the sample is so good. That sample is so freaking good. And I thought I knew the song they used. I looked up Old Girl and I said, wait a minute, no, it's not that. Because her voice is so unique. She always just, I'm trying to remember the name of the singer as I'm singing. Legend, absolute legend. Pardon that I'm forgetting right now. But the name of the song is Menage a Trois. Okay, and the song is about a woman being frustrated with her dude got her caught up in a three-way love triangle. And she's like, nah, I ain't signed up for that. I want just you. She's saying, like, you know, I'm a one-woman girl. I ain't trying to deal with all this other drama you trying to put me in. And he's like, menage a trois, something. This is not how we're supposed to be. Why can't one lady be enough for your love? And it's like when she hits that note, that part and some other part is the part they use in they loop. Man, that song is so hidden, so freaking hidden. And you know, and Corrupt is on that joint too with Q. And even his verse, as wild as it gets, it makes me laugh every time I listen to it. Cause Corrupt he rapped a little bit. Cause Corrupt, man, that's a lyricist now. Anybody who know his work, Corrupt is one of the West Coast's greatest lyricists, straight up. When folk be talking about, oh, they don't really rap, man. They just talk a bunch of gangster shit and be going off and everything, but they don't really rap. You know, folk used to say all that. They used to say the same stuff about the South. They be like, oh, you know, they just listen to booty shaking. All they do is talk about how fine the girls are and get drunk and stuff. And then folk like Outkast came out and everybody quiet. Then folk like Goody Mob came out and everybody got quiet. They still wasn't quiet enough. And then CeeLo went off on a couple of songs. And they was like, oh, shit, damn, wait a minute, damn. They busting. They got bars for real. They not playing. Yeah, stop playing. You know, so Corrupt did that for the West, along with so many other MCs, but he's one of the ones. But what made me laugh about on that track is he must have just been feeling some frustration that day in the studio. So it's like at first he's flowing, he just going smooth with the track, he rapping, then he's just like, you know what? Man, F these fools and F them fools. And every laugh, man, it makes me laugh every time I listen to it, because I'm just like, I understand Corrupt. There be them times where you just like, you know what? Y'all don't even deserve my artistry. So I'm just gonna snap. That's all I got for y'all. I'm gonna cuss y'all the hell out and get up out of here, man. Appreciate you, Cube. Thanks for having me on the album. But even the way he did that, it's so good and so creative in the way he's still flowing. He's still right on the track. It's not like he skipped a beat at all. He was still on it. That's my joy. Now the other one I love, other ones, because there's many on that album, Burn Rubber. Yeah. I'm a burn rubber. That's my, because it literally sums up and defines a whole movement that's been going on, but is now pretty much very official West Coast LA stuff, where, you know, they'll block off it. Like he said, he gave the whole description. He's like, block off the intersection in all 4 directions, you know, and then he talking about the cars and everybody coming through with the lows and